What is DMT? DMT, or N-dimethyltryptamine, is a chemical substance that occurs in many plants and animals, in which is both a derivative and a structural analog of tryptamine. It can be consumed as a psychedelic drug and has historically been prepared by various cultures for ritual purposes as an entheogen. DMT, or N-dimethyltryptamine in medical talk, is a hallucinogenic tryptamine drug, sometimes referred to as Dimitri. This drug produces effects similar to those of psychedelics like LSD and magic mushrooms. Other names for it include Fantasia, Businessman's Trip, Businessman's Special, 45-minute psychosis, and the spiritual molecule. DMT is a Schedule I controlled substance in the United States, which means it's illegal to make, buy, possess, or distribute it. Some cities have recently decriminalized it, but it's still under state and federal law as illegal. Where does it come from? DMT naturally occurs in many plant species, which have been used in religious ceremonies in some South American countries for centuries. It can also be made in a laboratory, however. Is it the same thing as ayahuasca? Well, kind of. DMT is the main active ingredient in ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is traditionally prepared using two plants. The latter contains DMT, while the former contains MAOIs, which prevent certain enzymes in your body from breaking down DMT. Does it really naturally exist in your brain? No one knows for sure. Some experts believe the pineal gland produces it in the brain and releases it when we dream. Others believe it's released during birth and death. Some go further to say this release of DMT at death may be responsible for those mystical near-death experiences you sometimes hear about. What does it feel like? As with most drugs, DMT can affect people in very different ways. Some truly enjoy the experience, others find it overwhelming or frightening. As far as its psychoactive effects, people have described feeling like they're traveling at warp speed through a tunnel of bright lights and shapes. Others describe having an out-of-body experience and feeling like they've changed into something else. There are also some who report visiting other worlds and communicating with elf-like beings. Are there any risks? Yes, some of them potentially serious. DMT's physical side effects of raising both heart rate and blood can be risky, especially if you have a heart condition or already have high blood pressure. Using DMT may also cause seizures, loss of muscle coordination, which increases the risk of falls and injury, and confusion. It may also be associated with respiratory arrest and coma. Like other hallucinogenic drugs, DMT may cause persistent psychosis and hallucinogen persisting perception disorder, HPPD. Both are rare and more likely to occur in people with pre-existing mental health conditions. Is it addictive? The jury is still out on whether DMT is actually addictive, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Harm reduction tips. DMT is extremely powerful, even though it naturally occurs in several plant species. If you're going to try it, there are a few steps you can take to reduce your risk for having a bad reaction. Keep these tips in mind when using DMT. Strength in numbers. Don't use DMT alone. Do it in the company of people you trust. Find a buddy. Make sure you have at least one sober person around who can intervene if things take a turn. Consider your surroundings. Be sure to take it safe and in a comfortable place. Take a seat. Sit or lie down to reduce the risk of falling or injury while you're tripping. Keep it simple. Don't combine DMT with alcohol or other drugs. Pick the right time. The effects of DMT can be pretty intense. As a result, it's best to use it when you're already in a positive state of mind. Know when to skip it. Avoid using DMT if you're taking antidepressants, have a heart condition, or already have high blood pressure. The bottom line. DMT is a naturally occurring chemical that's been used for centuries in religious ceremonies and several South American cultures. Today it is synthetic from its powerful hallucinogenic effects. If curious about trying DMT, it's important to take certain steps to reduce your risk for serious effects. This includes making sure any prescription over-the-counter medications you take won't cause a bad reaction. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. And as always, cheers and ciao.